So once we cultivate restraint and renunciation, some things become very clear, and probably have already become clear in order to wish to undertake restraint and renunciation. We're not going to get fulfillment through the senses, is the basic message that you get. You get it for yourself. It arises for you. It's not something that can be foisted upon you. That which learns, that which gets it, is citta. You could call it heart, you could call it mind, spirit. Something starts to stir, it's not getting what it needs from this. That process, kind of dawning. When I was a young man, layman, travelling around, trying this and trying that, trying different shakes, different twists of the sensory world, travelling to different countries, what's it like here, what's it like there. Some very beautiful, interesting countries, India, Turkey, Afghanistan, places when I was a little child, just dreamland, fantasy world. Wow, it must be amazing there. You go there, yes, it is amazing. It is amazing when you go somewhere new. And yet this little thing would come up into my head. No. Okay, go somewhere else. Look around here, go there. Yes, it's amazing, fantastic beach, sea, sunshine. No worries. Something's going. No, this isn't it. Okay, go here, do that. Yeah, this is kind of interesting and fun and different, and something's going. No, had enough of this. Okay, go somewhere else. Had enough of this. And that had enough of this would happen quicker and quicker, till within a day of arriving somewhere, I already had enough of it. And sometimes it's almost as I got there, I'd already had enough of it. Something's wrong here. I was in Bali, it's kind of paradise, tropical tourist paradise, people partying and free living on the beach, and all I wanted to do was sit quietly. I had enough of this. I had this amazing mountain I wanted to climb, holy mountain, sacred mountain in Bali. Got halfway up it and thought, I had enough of this. Better get back to a monastery quick. Something's going wrong. I'm following the script, I'm following the narrative, I'm being here now, I'm doing this and that and the other, I'm going with the flow, and it's still something wrong, not working, wrong flow, wrong narrative. And what tells you that? Eyes don't say it, ears don't say it, thinking mind doesn't say it. The message comes from somewhere else. And I was always kind of recognised what I didn't want, or got enough of, but what I actually wanted, difficult to formulate. Stillness, space, liberation, kind of murky, fuzzy meanings. So I've got to find out what it is that really means something to me. Okay, well, some or another, doing this boring thing, meditating, frustration, pain. Something's going, this is it. no, this isn't it. This is painful, uncomfortable. I don't like this. This is it. No, this is not. No, this is. You stay here. But you've already done it. You've already done that. Okay, stay here. But I could. You've already done that. Stay here. Oh, how long for? Stay here. Oh, wait. Stay here. Oh. Feeling restless. Stay here. Feeling bored. Had enough. Stay here. Don't like the food. Stay here. Stay here. Stay here. Monastery. I don't see why we should have to stay here. Why do we have to just stay here? Got it? Why does he keep saying that? You're entering the territory of the heart, the mysterious territory of citta, which goes against one's my normal way of reasoning. Well, it's important to, touch into that quality for yourself. If that's where it works for you, you must have come here with some sense of you've had tried other things. Nobody's forced you to be here. You actually ask for it, beg for it, and then you don't want it. So it's like, what is it, really? We recognise there's quite a disconnection between the world of sense consciousness and the heart. And normally thinking mind is one of the aspects of sense consciousness, mano-vijnana. Mano-vijnana, thinking mind, or the mind that discerns data to do with sights, sounds, touches, so forth, and its own symbols and concepts, its own ideas and plans. That's that. It works around that. It has its ideas, its programs, its trajectories, its measurements, its calculations, this is right, that's not right, going on. And that's all there. And then the citta, it's kind of has a relationship with that. It's affected by the messages or the feeling that they bring and the perceptions that they bring. And it shakes, trembles, gets agitated or calmed or delighted. With very much this relationship. We begin to recognize actually the most, when you lead with the heart, say this is the one that has to be listened to, understood, purified, steadied, stabilized. And citta is that which is liberated. Purify the citta, liberate the citta, and with consciousness you bring it to cessation, you bring it to stopping. You stop it continually pumping data, which is the normal activity of consciousness. It just pumps sights, sounds, touches, thoughts. And all of those drop onto the citta like pebbles on a pond. It shakes. And you really want to get that to back off. And this isn't through aversion, it's not through fighting it, it's not through quarrelling with the pebbles, wondering who threw them and why. It's through this sense of what's called viveka, withdrawing. Withdrawing or seclusion or detachment, disengagement. It's citta just is no longer welded to sense consciousness. It kind of inches back. It begins to know itself, begins to know its sensitivity, its receptivity, and it's how it's affected. And its potential, that's always occurring, for motivation. And it's the motivation, the energy of desire, chanda, comes from citta. And it can go into the senses, which by and large it normally does, in relationship to consciousness. It charges out to the senses, looking for, fundamentally, security, comfort, happiness. Find some there, but not enough. The chanda, it's called that, which is rooted in chanda, are all dhammas. All dhammas are rooted in chanda. Anything that arises because of some kind of motivation or desire, not necessarily clearly thought out, but almost instinctive. Desire is not necessarily a clear purpose, it's an instinctive reaching out, motive movement out. And natural movement will be towards the senses, towards consciousness. That's the strong link to that aggregate. And it bounces back, feeling frustrated or somewhat stimulated. And what was it? Where did that come from, that movement? The urge, shift of energy occurs. And then interest lights up around a sight, sound, touch, taste, idea. And become luminous. They mesmerize, the citta gets obsessed, fascinated, angry, inflamed. No, this is not doing me any good. And withdraw. Citta still seeks security and comfort. So he said, first then is faith. Motivate towards an object, a theme, where faith can arise. What is faith? This I can rely upon. This will definitely for my welfare. This is not something that's seducing me, asking for, demand something or other. Just that which encourages this is going to provide and ask you to open, to really see things clearly. It will give you wisdom. It will give you understanding. We call this Buddha. But, most of us can't necessarily begin with that as an idea. Awakening. Oh yeah, that's an interesting idea. What does it mean? It means something when it's half closed opens up. Something that's foggy and dreamy becomes clear and still. Citta. Oh yeah. And that. All conditions of motive are rooted in this chanda. They come into being through attention. And it's what you give attention to begins to shape your citta. Normally we'll give attention to sights, sounds and ideas. We'll give attention to ethics. Oh yeah, that's a really big part of life. Didn't notice that in sight, sound, touch, travelling, buying this, drinking that, eating. Ethics. Oh yeah, because when I ask my citta, yes, I want to live decent, I want to live with dignity, and I want to live with respect. I want to have no regret. And I do not feel ashamed of myself. Citta gets that. And so your first arising is something like that. One begins to form around living ethically, responsibly. And this is the beginning of what's called right view. And it's said one should make an effort to establish right view. You've got to almost unhook from sense pleasure or even sense pain, ideas, projects, which are luminous, fascinating, sometimes inflamed. And there are causes, there are consequences to what I give my attention to. I get this, I get obsessed. Going to this, I get fascinated. Going to this, I get drugged. Going to this, I get seduced. Going to this, I just get twisted up and upset and angry. Okay. Give attention to kindness, goodwill. Give attention to bringing forth skilful states. What skilful states are available? Kindness is available. Non-harming is available. Non-lying is available. Non-gossiping is available. That's available. Courtesy is available. Non-abuse is available. They're not great, wow, stellar, luminous, flashing light stuff. But these may not be what I want, but this is definitely a good, reliable thing. So one has faith in that. And you see the consequences. If I really give attention to that, something starts to firm up, become resolute, reliable, through the ups and downs of emotion, through sights and sounds, through people and incidents, through disputes and disagreements, through things going bad, through sickness, through people not liking me, through being treated rather badly. Still, I can keep my non-harming, non-abusing, non-swearing, non-gossiping. I can keep that. Whatever others do or don't do, I can keep that. You get firm. And you realise if I don't do that, I know what's going to happen. I'm going to spin out into they should, and the world is this, and this and that, and they don't know. And really this is very important. You see in a world which is obviously, it seems pretty clearly that by and large, cruel, bigoted, ignorant people gain power. They like it, they go for it. You can feel pretty fed up with that. And more. Okay. And withdraw. So but I can do this. I can do this. I think I can live with people who may not absolutely get it right all the time, but at least they're having a good crack at trying to develop those themselves. Then we get a sense of companionship. That I can do, that I can manifest, that I can work with all the different opinions, it's like different tastes, awkward speech habits. I can still work on companionship and have faith in that. And also recognise, this is not just an act of faith, it also means now I'm going to be able to really not have blind faith, have faith in intention and aspiration, to be able to manage imperfection and flaws. That's really important. Living in a world of arahants is not going to necessarily make me that wise and deeply resolute. Having some things, rocking my boat, it means I've got to put forth. I just can't lean on other people. Ask for a cuddle from everybody else. I've got to develop that strength. So your faith, then your citta then firms up, and you notice what firms up. You're getting in touch with it. So this is definitely, I would call this a heart experience. You could call it mind, spirit, but it's not just a thought. Certainly, it's not a void of thought, but you can think things and, oh yeah, how does that feel? How does that land on my citta when I think that? And as we get that sense of withdrawal, it doesn't mean we're completely closing down sense consciousness or thought, but we're actually discriminating. That thought goes nowhere useful. That thought is just obsessive babble. That thought is wise reflection. That thought is, often it's the thoughts that are just a simple one-word thought. Oh, you don't need a lot of babble. You get it. Oh, relax. Rather than, well, they shouldn't be, no, I should have to, this really says in the Sutta, you needed they didn't do this, and after all, I don't see the point as this Western society, 21st century, after all, we have to become a reasonable person, so, no, the word is relax. Oh yeah, that's what it means. So it's often the head thinks a lot, the heart thinks very simply, because it gets right to the point. Come back. You've gone out too far. And then so we contain thought. And it's important not to cut it off completely, but to withdraw to what is necessary, what's useful, according to time and place. This is skilful vitakka vichara. You have a thought, notice the thought as it feel. You vichar it, you vitakka, something pops in, the pebble lands in the pond, vichara, where does the ripples go? Keep following it. Does it go to skillful state, or more and more churning? And that's going to have effects. Whether your citta is churning, stagnant, or it's letting those ripples move across it, and think, realization. That's that. And this is a process I think one can have faith in, because it doesn't mean blind belief, nor does it mean having it all figured out. It means you work it out as you go along, using that simple method. Drop the pebble in the pond, see where the ripples go, feel where the ripples go, and you begin to firm up your attention. And taking that process, now the citta is very much bonded or strongly connected to consciousness. You could say it's the heart of consciousness, or the inner quality of consciousness. You can play these words around. But certainly in the suttas you see citta is released and consciousness ceases. It is to be purified. And yet, of course, we're still taking in what consciousness brings, particularly mental consciousness. And the other one is body consciousness, because of one salient feature. Both of these give rise to feeling. Mental consciousness does ops through perception, and as we get a meaning or an impression, that's dangerous, that's attractive, and then the feeling arises. So mental consciousness, perception and feeling come together. That's called contact. Something See something, looks pleasing, the impression attractive, pleasing, pleasant feeling arises. Disgusting odour, unpleasant feeling arises. And you work with that. That which is attractive, you can look at it as unattractive. Challenge the perception. Look at the body, which, we can find it when we're hardwired to find bodies attractive in certain aspects. We like nice smooth skin or beards or whatever, shapes. And then you just realise how thin that is. You peel it off and you see there's viscera, muscles, oozing, liquids. What happened to that? Perception, not attractive. Still a perception, and the citta pulls back. So you can play with this system. And then which is unattractive, somebody's sick, vomiting, diarrhea, real mess. Unattractive, but you think, this is a person in pain and sick. You move towards them. Your citta can work past, can operate independently of perception or go against the tide of perception. It's an important strength to cultivate, because citta is bonded not just to consciousness but to what consciousness brings, which is perception, feeling. A form of some kind arises, perceptions, feeling, and what happens then? Activations. We get sankhara. We start to get stirred, excited, or compassionate. And you begin to recognise, of all these, probably the best ones, give me the best results are sankharas, motivations, activations associated with goodwill, compassion, patience, determination. So you play with these, work with these aggregates. The citta recognises it's not just hopelessly bonded. It can step back and begin to shift how the aggregates are coming in and how it manifests in them. This is, it can. So it's said that all dhammas converge on feeling, because it's bodily feeling or mental feeling, mentally derived feeling. That's where the Vedana occurs, and the sankhara, the activations, the motivations, the reactions, the responses issue from that point of contact. Now we can change that. And monastic life, we're beginning to associate quiet places, lovely images, Buddhas representing the beautiful, the stable, the dignified, the virtuous, the wise, teachers, those who look after us, wise beings who care for us, offering flowers, incense. These are all working with the aggregates to make the motivations, the activations beautiful. The heart receives that. But with this process you recognise there's another thing about citta is it just doesn't snap to attention. It doesn't obey orders. You've got to keep training it. It's often, from sensory contact, it's often quite confused, carrying weights of regret, irritation, fear, guilt, quite closed. It just doesn't burst out into ebullient joy. But it can say, okay, I can be with this. I can open to this. Take your time. Another beautiful thing, I think, to me about in Buddha Dhamma is you measure your own rate. Take Move in as you can, commit as you can. Take 5 precepts, you can do that. Feel comfortable with that, feel sure in that. Take the 8 precepts, feel comfortable in that, feel sure in that. Renounce as you can. And as you get this sense of, this is not some kind of obligatory thing, I'm moving at my own rate, you get a sense of gratitude, respect. You know, this is a great gift, an invitation. Welcome in. At your own rate. Certainly, devotion to me is very far reach from where I was at. I quite liked the idea, but I could never really manage it from a full-hearted position. So I just kind of had to wait, just bear with. And, I don't. It's okay. I can't get there, but other people can. That's good. And then gradually the sense of considering, respect, definitely there. Gratitude, definitely there. Yeah, and lingering on those meanings, taking those in. Something you can rely on. Something benevolent, stable, having persisted for thousands of years, by people who've made a big effort and are offering it to me, helping to drag myself out of the ditch. Yeah, I think I feel pretty grateful. And asking the heart how you want to express that. How you want to express that. I want to make an offering. I want to make an offering. I want to express it. Gradually this kind of devotional quality begins to warm up and become a mainstay, and not just in terms of pujas, but basically a main theme of behind, personally, everything I do. It doesn't look that flowery, but it's the sense of an offering heart. Whether not necessarily what I do is that great, but, it's an offering. Because that seems the best thing to do. Citta feels that's the right, if you're going to be doing something, that's probably the best thing to be doing. And then service. And working on taking out the blind spots or the, whatever, So then you withdraw from the actions and dwell in the results, dwell in the heart. Withdraw from the actions, withdraw from the manifestations, and dwell in that heart, which is yes, it kind of opens, doesn't it? It doesn't just grasp things. It doesn't just rush forward, grasping something, or turn around. It actually stays still and opens. Oh yeah, of course. You begin to recognize the heart isn't just a matter of, feeling things and reacting things. It also has a shape to it. It can get quite wide and spacious and open. And when it's open and spacious, the energies of the heart cool, become more subtle, sensitive. And you recognize this is where wisdom occurs. That subtle, receptive sensitivity is the foundation for liberating wisdom, because that recognizes this is where I'm starting to get shaky, this is where it's beginning to contract, this is where a little bit of obsessiveness is coming in, and just back off and open, take your time. I can know that, I can trust it, and I forget it. And notice when I forget it, start to get heavy, start to get intense, driven, pushed, contracted. And then my thinking mind can find reasons why this and that, and that can be very deceiving, very convincing. Wait a minute, what's happening? Where's the shape? Where's my chitta's gone out of shape, completely bent? Come back to right view. This is an unskillful state. It's not going to do you any good. It doesn't go anywhere useful. Where is the release from that? Now, personally, and I think very much in line with what we do when we meditate, when we do this cultivation, we recognise there's another source of input other than the mind, another thing that feels other than the mind. Remember, the sights don't feel anything, it's just what the mind makes of them, gives the feeling. There's no feeling associated with hearing apart from what the mind makes of it. Sound is just sound. But something else feels, which is body. Bodily feeling, independent of mental feeling. And you think, well, that's not a good option, because body feelings are pretty uncomfortable. You can train it so it gets more comfortable physically. But even better than that, more useful, is the inner body, because that also is very resonant with the feeling tones of the citta. When the citta is affected by feeling, it causes ripples to occur in this inner body. You recognise this is probably quite the way of nature. The way of nature, that is, when we feel something in the heart, the body stirs. Internally. Feel shocked, there's a jump. You feel frightened, there's a jump. You feel depressed, there's a sink. You feel angry, there's a stirring and a heating. But when you cultivate, you make much of mind, you make much of body, really breathe in and out, long, deep, steady, body, that bodily quality calms the mind. When we perform acts of goodwill and loving kindness and linger upon it, we've got a brightness in the body. There's something open in your chest, I'd imagine. For me, very much there. When I feel firm and resolute, I really feel the body firms up. Not in a rigid way, but it's in tune. There's a determination. So this acts like a drone string. Citta strikes the tone, the body resonates with it. And we begin to recognise this acts as another way of not really knowing what's going on, being able to get a reference to it, other than the thinking mind. My thinking mind is going blah, 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 blah. My body's going, stressed, tense, negative, bristling, prickly. Okay. What do you need? Space, release, breathing, patience, openness. Okay. So you can work with these. This is helpful, I think, when you just can't get any more ideas going about what meditation or practice or monasticism. You can't get any great ideas going, you've kind of done it, been there, whatever, heard it, so forth. But still, you can get feeling bored or flat. How's that feel in the body? You realise you probably lost touch with it. Often do. So then, body's gone kind of stagnant. Then you bring your spine in, drop your shoulders, open your chest, take some breath. Move around and let the dreary states dissipate, let the fog lift. Mm-hmm. And this is, I think, a really helpful tool, because what the mind brings in is extremely complex because of the powerful mental conditioning, psychological conditioning. Mm. So often our first responses are emotional responses, what I like, what I want, what makes me happy. They become embedded as psychologies. I need to be this, I can't stand this, I've always got to be that, I'm one of these, I'm an introvert, I'm an extrovert, I'm a socialist, I'm a whatever, I'm an equalitarian, I'm a liberal, whatever, you get these psychological imprints. Really you're an emotion that got established around certain themes. And these become views and opinions, and they get embedded. And then we begin to recognise, wait a minute, this is not doing me any good. It's just another position to hold on to. My body's not a Democrat or a vegan, or it's just a body. It just feels pleasure, pain, tension, relaxation. Why don't I just come towards releasing tension, frustration, pressure there. And suddenly all the ideologies drift away. I know what I am. I don't need to know what I am. Just open, easy. And you see, we begin to feel that process. And this can be quite exasperating experience, because it can take a while. I remember I had a sense of doubt which went on for most of a rains retreat, my third rains retreat. Doubt about whether I wanted to be a monk, whether to keep staying here, training, whatever. This big doubt came up. What's the right thing to do? Should I be here? Should I be in Thailand? Should I try this or that? So the thinking mind would go one way, that's it, yep. And then at a certain point it would go, but on the other hand, and then rush over, and that's it. But on the other hand, this. And then, stop thinking. Right. But maybe, if I went to this, I could do, and then I could do this, and do that. I wouldn't have to do this, I could be that. That's it. But, on the other hand, that could be that, this could be better, that, maybe that, and backwards and forwards, and stop thinking. Right. Try it. Yeah, that's better, yeah. Yeah, I could stay with this is really great. Except this. I don't really like that. Maybe it could be this. One of those would be better. I might be missing out on this. After all, they say that's really good. The new way, that's a better way, yeah. Don't need to do this, yeah, that's it. But on the other hand, so this is going on. And then one day I was just walking along. I was kind of walking along a path. It was quite a pleasant morning, trees around me, just enjoying the trees, and suddenly this thing started creeping up, this doubt started creeping up. I could feel it coming. I thought, it's about to happen. The big doubt is coming it's going to take over again. Here we go. And I could sense this doubt as like an entity, like a Mara, except it was a big dog. And it was running along behind me. It was getting closer and closer. I could feel this doubt, like the breath of the doubt on my neck. It's just about to grab me by the throat. And I thought, instead of running, I turned around and faced it in the eyes. I said, "What are you?" And it went, "Oh." And it sort of disappeared. And the mind went, opened. So one of our conventional approaches to life is something's broken, something's not wrong, then fix it. Buy a new one. Chuck that away, buy a new one. Get a screwdriver on it, get some glue on it, fix it. That's the way of the senses, isn't it? Where the citta is broken, don't fix it. It's going to just turn around and face it. Open to it. It's this now. And that perspective, that disengagement, not denying, not adding tones to it, withdraws the energy that feeds the phenomena. And they dissolve. Because they need a citta's interest. They need its fear. They need its frenzy. They need its desperation. They need its fascination to keep going. You withdraw those. And they blow out. Cessation. As it said, the path is dependent upon viveka. It's withdrawal, dependent on dispassion. You're no longer really going to get into a state. You've begun to no longer get more and more agitated with it. Dispassion, dependent upon cessation. You really notice by withdrawing passion, frenzy, shame, self-view, I shouldn't be. Withdrawing all that agitation, pull the plug out, energy releases, cessation, things blow out. It couldn't be any other way. Because what we begin to add up as we get experience is this Dhamma is not about gaining anything, becoming something, even progressing in an ordinary sense. It's about the abandoning of the aggregates as an ability to withdraw from that without aversion, just because, not through aversion, just because they cannot add up, they cannot fulfill. The citta has had enough of all that. Trying to be, trying not to be. It's had enough. Stay. What you know is sometimes it hasn't had enough yet. Stay. Not had enough of that yet. Still got some struggle left. Stay. Still got some blaming left to do. Stay. Eventually, you see. Once you've seen one thing, once you've begun to get that experience of the opening, it's a matter of resolutely lining up that which arises in line with one's insight, And this too is felt. Release is felt as the unloading of a burden. So let's take time for our deepening our practice, wherever we are, or wherever you are in your own experience. Hope something that's been said and the companionship of the retreat and the form of the retreat will be supportive for your liberation.